and more students keep joining us. Lovely. So
Correct.
thank you so much, Vansh, for agreeing to doing the session. I know you must be super busy, but it's absolutely brilliant to find mentors like you coming on board. A special thanks to the QFIS team. So it's my captain in collaboration with QFIS, who go on to find such amazing mentors to come deliver sessions like one-on-one webinars and things to help you all out in your respective field of passion as well. So a
Yeah,
huge shout out to the QFIS team. Before we begin,
exactly.
for the mentees who don't know, Vansh Shivasta is currently working with Zomato. He has been working for the past 3 years. So we'd love to
Yeah.
know your journey, Vansh, about how your experience has been right from the beginning, because we think a lot of our students would want to get an idea as to how to probably get into Zomato, or what are the kind of job opportunities available out there. So could
Yeah.
you just start off with introducing yourself? What did you study and what are you currently doing?
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Vansh Srivastava, and I'm a resident of Kanpur. I have done my 10th and 12th from Kanpur itself, and then I moved on to BTech. I did my BTech from Galgutias College. If anyone knows, it's there in Greater Noida. I have done electronics and instrumentation engineering, and after that, I worked with Tech Mahindra for in 2016. Then in 2017, I joined Zomato. So yeah, I mean, since then I've been working in Zomato, and I really like my job in Zomato as of now. And yeah, so let me tell you about. So basically, I've done a few more internships in between 2016 and 17. After I left Tech Mahindra, so I have done a few internships in, let's say, social media marketing, or let's say sales. So I have that experience also, but I don't think I liked it as much. So I decided to join Zomato and I stuck with that. And the role I am on right now is data and operations. I am at a post of a senior associate. And yeah, that's pretty much I'll tell you more about my role and everything as we progress into the webinar.
Lovely. So you've been working for Zomato, I think, for the almost 3 years. So how has
Yeah.
your experience been, working with Zomato? What is the team culture like? I think we would love to know that.
So I am sure most of the people over here know about Zomato, and to people who don't know about it, let me introduce Zomato to you a little bit. So basically, it's a food tech company. It follows a series of steps through which you order food online, and the food arrives at your doorstep. So that's the basic motive of this app, this product, and a lot of tech savvy things are there in between, which like from the beginning to the end. So now that you know about Zomato a little bit, so yeah, like I have been working with Zomato since 2017, and I'm surprised I have stuck by with this company for 3 years, because earlier I used to think that like I do not like my job at, like I have worked at 3 4 places, and I thought that I don't like my job here, I don't like my job there. And then when I came to Zomato, like I had so many opportunities in my hand, and there were too many things to do that like I could never keep my head out of that. So the culture is really nice in Zomato in those terms. Like for example, like I appreciate the senior management in Zomato so much. Like whenever you have a problem in a company, like it's a small company. It started in about 2008, and we have completed 12 years in July. And even for a company that's small, that is just starting, the senior management, the people who work here are really nice. Okay, like we have this thing, like we try to like tackle every problem that's there. Like right now, the most ongoing problem that's there is recession. Okay, so there were a lot of suggestions from people who worked at Zomato, that what we can do, what we cannot do. So, like, instead of firing people, we decided to take a salary cut, right? I mean, it's better that you take a salary cut than firing a lot of people at this point of time. So that's there. Like, there are always solutions. There could be solutions for big problems. There could be solutions for small problems. That's what I like about Zomato the most. Like for every problem, there is someone in the team who can find a solution. So that's what is the best thing about Zomato. Apart from that, I think people who work at Zomato are really nice. Like they're very supportive of you. Like when I started, I was in the role of operations only, and like I had nothing to do with data except that I knew a few languages. I had nothing to do with data. So when my manager got to know that I am aware with something which is related to data, then he helped me out. Started giving me work that's related to data. Then he created a new job for me, a new profile for me. So yeah, like if your peers are supportive, then that's probably the best thing about a company. And right now, it might not seem very important, but when you work in a company, it's actually the best thing to have very supportive peers in your team. So yeah,
Definitely. I'm sure people would want to, wake up every morning to a job that you absolutely love. And I love that you
exactly.
mentioned also there's a lot of background that goes into the operations of Zomato because it's not, we just get the order and we're satisfied with the food, but I'm sure there's a lot of, background that also goes into it. So can you tell us
Yeah.
exactly what is the role of, a data and operations associate?
Okay, so let me start with telling you how I started working in Zomato. Okay, I first worked in Tech Mahindra where I learned a few languages, and after that I started working with Zomato. Now, when I joined Zomato, I was an associate in the content team. I was handling their operations. Okay, now from there I learned how to manage operations in this company, and after that, with like since I did pretty well in my job, so they sent me off to another team, to a new team that was starting, and like I was handling operations over there also. So eventually, from operations, I started doing their data tasks also because I was aware of SQL and Python. So like that came as an added benefit from my last job. So it worked out well. And apart from, yeah, like then gradually started taking up data queries. There were new projects that used to come every day, like you have to get the KYC update of all the merchants across India, or let's say you where you can concentrate your product more, like where are the places where you think your product needs to go deeper. All these things are only data driven. Like most of the things that tech companies do nowadays are data driven and based on user experience. So like at that point of time, I thought that my job is pretty nice, and that was sort of what my role was at that point of time, like strategizing what needs to be done and figuring out ways to do that. So that's one of the basic role of my job right now. And since at this point of time, I'm handling the entire product side, the entire data side, and the operations for India. So like it's like a mix of everything. Like in my role, you will be deploying new changes in the product. Then you will be managing the operations so that everyone knows about those changes and knows how to use them. To deploy a new change, you will be using data-driven responses. So that's sort of my job, like starting from data and ending it in operations. So that's sort of the role that I am in right now.
I think that's like the perfect combination of both data and operations, which it
Yeah.
keeps it exciting as well. So I would like to know, is this like a technical background or do you need to have like a management background for this kind of job role? Because we have a lot of students who would like to, probably show interest in this particular role. So what kind of background
Yeah.
and skills are required for this particular role?
Okay, so basically, like as you guys know, I've done a BTech in electronics and communication. That is nowhere near to what I'm doing right now, right? So I guess like it's not so much about like your background than what you learn on the job. Okay, if you join a company like Zomato, that is a startup, and like where you will be acknowledged more than let's say in an MNC. So in these kind of companies, if you have any skill set, then the person would want to utilize them, right? Because they don't want to employ another person who would want to, who will pay another salary to do that new job. So that's how it helps in a startup. So I think in that manner, a startup is really beneficial for someone who's starting their career because they get to know what all they can do and what all they're good at. So that's what, like,
Lovely. So, as you mentioned, you've come from a tech background, and I like that you mentioned your journey. But how did you move into the sudden like switch to like a data and operations role?
so, like I started from a tech background. I did in electronics engineering, and after that, yeah. So when I joined Zomato, my job was nowhere near the tech background. I was only handling operations. It was only when I joined a new team, and this team at that time was really small. Okay, like it had only 3 people. So the more work you can do in a new team, the better. So, like, since I knew data, since I could had an experience of operations. So that's how it helped. Like the only two, three languages that I learned related to data were in Tech Mahindra, where I worked before that. So that experience came in handy over here. And operations was how, like, that's what I did for 1 year before joining the new team. So that helped. Like these were the two things that really helped. Like I don't think my studies have anything to do with what I'm doing right now, but my job experience totally has. So everything that I've learned for what I'm working right now has been through my job only, and I don't think, yeah, that's pretty much
Okay, so
it. I
you
mean,
learned on the go as well and got that kind of,
yeah,
exposure and opportunities. That's absolutely brilliant. So coming to the data aspect, you had mentioned that you required a couple of languages to know. Can you tell us what languages are important by the industry today? Because students, they're confused. Okay, do I learn Python? Do I, become jack of all trades and learn all the languages? So what is important by the industry?
okay. So in data, there are two things. Okay, like one is data analysis and one is data scientist. So if you're a data analyst, you all you have to do is dig up data, and for digging up data, SQL is the best language. Okay, like it's easy, it's mostly English, and once you go through it, you'll realize that it's mostly English. Okay, so you learn it in no time, and so that is the best language for data analysis. If you are more into data and you want to dig up new data and you want to do more data driven researches, then you should learn Python. Some people say that you should learn R, but I think you should learn Python because it like it just it it's also programming language. Okay, so when you learn Python, and then you will be then it will be easier for you to conversate with the tech people. You will know how they work. Okay, so it'll be easier to tell them what you want to do with the product because you know how it can be done related to on the basis of the tech field. So that's why I think Python is a better language. Plus, it's a higher level assembly language, and I think it'll come in more handy than learning R right now. So yeah, I think Python and SQL are the two main languages for data.
Lovely. That is great. And you also learned it on the job, or like were there any couple of courses, or you learned from somebody like a mentor when you were learning?
So basically, SQL I studied in Tech Mahindra. That was one language. Like I learned a lot of languages in Tech Mahindra, but this one came in handy. This was the most useful one, and this was apparently the only one that I liked from all of them. And so SQL I learned over there. That was on the job. And then Python. When I started working with the data team, then there were like a lot of new things that were coming up, and there were some times when you don't know how to do something. So
Yeah.
at that point of time, I realized that I cannot do this without learning Python. So then I started studying Python. Thankfully, I had a great mentor and someone in the tech team who helped me out. He taught me Python, and yeah, that's how I learned Python. So both the things that I learned were on the job. Apart from that, I used when I was in Tech Mahindra, I used to use Tutorials Point and W3 Schools for learning SQL, and for Python, I mostly use Stack Overflow. So these are a few websites that help people when they're starting to learn. But like mostly, you learn more when you take up a certain project and then you start working on that. So that is probably the best way to learn a new language.
Lovely. I completely agree. Doing a project, and you tend to like research and come up with better ideas as to how to implement it. Brilliant. So, any softwares or particular tools that you use for data?
Okay. So basically, for my role in data and operations right now, we don't use like we mostly use internal dashboards. So these are the internal dashboards that our tech team only created with the help from us. Like we tell them what we need, and then they create the dashboard using PHP or Java. So most of them are internal dashboards. Apart from that, there are a few platforms that we use to write our queries. Okay, for SQL, there is PHP MyAdmin, or there is Redash, and for Python, there are Python we use Jupyter Lab, and for data visualization we use Tableau. So these are a few tools which are there in the industry which everyone uses, and we have also adopted them. So
Okay.
apart from that, most of them are internal dashboards which help us in our day-to-day activities.
Okay, all right. So coming to operations aspect, now what are the skills that are required for somebody who wants to move into operations?
Okay. So for operations, you basically need a very sound understanding of the processes. Okay, like when I joined Zomato for the operations role, they did not expect me to know the entire work, but they expected me to know how Zomato works. Okay, like what does Zomato do, and they want you to be fluent with how you will deal with daily situations. They'll give you a certain situations and test you how you will react to them, and most of all, your communication has to be flawless, not flawless, but I mean, yeah, like it has to be, you should be easily able to communicate what you want, right? So that's what they want mostly in operations. And apart from that, a little common sense and you will be good to go.
Okay, all right. So students often want to do a lot of internships in the field. Now, maybe related to moving into data and operations, or different kinds of job roles. So, how would you suggest that? Suppose they want to move specifically into like the data and operations role, they like it. Are there any internships, or how do they build their profile into moving into these internships as well?
All right. Can you give me a second? I would like to respond to someone's question over here. Someone has asked me to repeat the name of the site. So I'll just type it down for you. It's
Yeah,
W3
perfect.
School. And the other one was, yeah,
One second.
yes.
I will just. Okay, it's just gone to all participants. I'll just retype it.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so I'm sorry I missed your question. Can you please repeat it to me again?
Yeah. So a lot of students want to, grab internships in the field. Now, the job opportunities are open out there, but when you do engineering or you do BCom or whatever, when you come into the industry, it's all different roles. So,
Yeah.
suppose they want to move into, say, the data and operations role. What kind of internships should they be doing to, getting a better idea, and where can they find these internships?
Okay, so the internships are basically like, if you want to enter into data, you should have a project related to data, or you at least know the language, or you would have done an internship. Like these are the two basics. Okay, like you have done some project and you have like you've done a project on it and you've done some internship related to data in some company. But it also depends on what sort of company you want to join. Okay, like if you want to join an MNC, then they would prefer that you worked with an MNC before. Right. If you want to
Yeah.
join a startup, then they would prefer that you work with a startup before, because MNCs and startups work on very different fronts. And if you have an experience in one, then like it's not likely that the other person would want you. Like if you taken an internship in Cognizant, then you're likely to be placed in Accenture. But if you've taken an internship in, let's say, Zomato, then you're likely to be placed in Airbnb, or let's say Swiggy or Zomato itself. So these are the things, like that's what it majorly depends on. Like you obviously know that if you want to do something in data, then you need to do an internship that's related to data. But again, like you also need to choose what kind of field you want to go into, what kind of company you want to go into.
Okay. So, what are the challenges and obstacles that you have faced probably in your, journey of working as a data and operations associate?
Okay, so the challenges, yeah. So basically, the first challenge was when this new, like I worked in a small team, okay, and I was handling too many things at once. And at that point of time, like a new role was created for me, and this was not a role that is usually there, okay. Like I don't think a lot of companies are offering a data plus operations role. So like at the first challenge that I faced was, like explaining people what my job is at first, and it was kind of difficult for people to understand why are you doing operations and data at the same time. But like for a person who's doing it, it kind of makes sense for them, and I hope it makes sense for you guys too now. So that was there, and apart from there, that yeah, like when you're doing handling two three things at once, you have a scarcity of time, okay. And there were times when I've worked till 8 or 9 at work, and then I picked up my laptop and I've gone back home. So that is there. And apart from that, yeah, like this is the most foremost thing about working in this role, that like you need to know a lot of things. Like if you think you only need to know things about data, that's not enough. you also know how to you also have to understand the product, because you're the guy who's going to tell the tech team how to make the product, what changes to do there. And then you also have to be the guy who has to explain it to the sales team, and then you also have an external audit agency to manage. There are a lot of things that happen at once. Okay, so that's what is a basic challenge. Like you have to know a lot of things. Like this is not one field related thing. It's just like you have to know a lot of more things, more than one thing, than just data or just operations. So that's
Makes
that.
sense. Yeah. So now with the whole pandemic, I'm sure it has affected multiple industries. And I would like to know from the food industry aspect, has it affected Zomato, and what is like the operation model that you have shifted to right now?
Yeah, so basically, like there are a lot of changes in this thing. Obviously, like this is a pandemic, and the entire country, the entire world has come to a halt, and it has halted. Like, so what Zomato depends on is restaurants, and all the eateries and all the places where you used to go out to dine, right? All of them were closed during the lockdown. So during those 2 months, there were a lot of changes that were made in the product so that people can start trusting the product again. Like right now, everyone would be apprehensive into like if you want to go out or if you don't want to go out. Like I would not want to go out at this point of time to eat anywhere,
True.
or I would also refrain from ordering food at my home. So these are the challenges that we are trying to focus on, and we are trying to like get people out of their shell and make this like what we're trying is basically get their trust, because I mean I understand that this is the time, but a business has to do things to survive. And so yeah, there are new changes in the product, there are new products coming up, and we have focused ourselves on hygiene at like at all costs. Like it is something that we earlier also did not, we never bargained on it, and at this point of time, it has become even more important. So yeah, like there are two, three new products that have started for hygiene. Like earlier, we used to have FSSAI guidelines based hygiene check,
Okay.
and now we are also involving WHO guidelines into our restaurants, and we are continuously helping them check the temperatures of the riders and the temperature of the people who cook the food, and we make sure that like the person who's cooking or whoever is sending you the food, they do not touch the food in any way, so the virus is not contracted in all these transactions. So these are all the changes that we are implementing right now, and two new products have already started in that. If you know about like the one is contactless dining and one is hygiene map. So one works for ordering and one works for dining out. So that's what, like, obviously this whole pandemic situation has worked, but I mean, like, you have to sustain a business, you develop new things to, make it sustainable.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mentees, if you all have any questions, you can post in the Q&A or the chat section. We will be looking at questions as well. So, Vanch, I want to know, a lot of students at Zomato has been like a dream company. Everybody loves, knowing about, Zomato and wanting to work there. What are the kind of job roles or, that, you find at Zomato? As I mentioned previously, a lot of people, like once you do your engineering or you do your BCom, you don't really know what are the job roles out there. So in different aspects in Zomato, what are the fields that students can possibly move into?
Okay, so as much as I have seen people I have a lot of friends in Zomato who have graduated from Delhi University. They've done their BComs, and so basically, a person who's done BCom can go into operations, can go into sales, can find something in the finance team. This is something that the BCom people can do. A person who has done BTech can go into the technology side or the product side or the data side. And like apart from that, there are other roles also. Like there is a support team, and apart from that, there is a design team. So yeah, like there are a multitude of opportunities that are there at Zomato. Like if studied from a design college, you can go into design. So for every this thing, there is something or the other. And yeah, I mean, like the best thing about Zomato is that it not only looks at your background, like if you are the exact fit, but it also looks at that if you're a cultural fit for the company. Okay, so that's one of the best things about Zomato. Like even if you're lacking a little bit in your background, but if you seem a great cultural fit, then I'm sure you'll land the job.
Lovely. So I'll come to my final question is related to, can you tell us a day in the life of, a senior associate of, operations and data? What do you do, and like you can glamorize it, but we'd like to know like your ideal day, how before the whole pandemic, obviously, but how did it look like?
Yeah, sure. And okay, I'll start. Like, I'll tell you how my Monday goes. Okay. So on Monday, I have this tracker that I send. Like, in the morning, I start with the tracker and I have to send it to the entire sales team, all the heads and everything, so that they know how the product is doing and what is its penetration in cities and everything, how many ratings are live, and that is the first. Then every day you have like there is an audit agency which is teamed with us that does the audits for us. Okay, like all these ratings that go up on the restaurant, they are done by an audit agency.
Okay.
So like I have to manage all the questions and all the queries that the third party agency has, and that's on a daily basis. Like I have to push them for numbers. Like, why haven't you done this? Why have you only done this much? You should have done more, and this was not the target of the week. You have to be a little bit mean. And apart from that, yeah, this is there. Then you have to help out your peers. Every day there is some new situation. Like right now, I'm working on this issue called, like, there was a fraudulent issue related to invoicing. So now they need the data for all these people who have raised wrong invoices or something. So you will have data queries every day, which you have to work on. That mostly take up half of your day. Then you have this, like we usually have a tracker on which we put down suggestions about what we need, new changes in the product that we need. Okay. So like I have to follow with the tech team if they have done this thing or not, how much they have completed this, how much they've completed that. So all this is there. Like you have to be at the tail of the product tech team all the time. Apart from that, whatever time is left is given to operations, replying to emails, and helping out a peer if he or she has some question. So that's most of the day. Like it might be, like sometimes it's like 4 5 hours of work because like all the things are usually done and you have nothing new pending. And sometimes it could go on for like 12 15 hours a day and you won't even know. So there are all kind of days. Sometimes some days it's relaxing and some days they're not so relaxing. So yeah.
Lovely. So when you plan out like, okay, data and operations, a lot of students, probably have plans of, starting up or, working this particular role. So you think the data and operations role definitely aligns with each other, and, data is directly proportional to, getting, the kind of customers to your product. And what are your thoughts on that?
So basically, I think data is the most important thing right now. Like data and product are the things which sustain any product at this point of time. Like first, if I've launched a product, I would like to know how many people are using it. How do you get it? Via data. And if these people who are using it, if they like it, so that is the change that product can make. Like you can bring out a new change and see how people are responding to it and make changes in the product. So I think data and product are the most important things right now to sustain any product. And maybe data and operations are not very similar, but if you combine them, it becomes a very strategic role. Okay, like you use your data and then you make some changes in the product and then you deploy that. So that's a strategy. Okay, like that's a strategy based role. It's not like you are using three things separately. It's like you're mixing all the three things together to get the best out of it. So that is the kind of role that this is.
Lovely. I think, like you mentioned, operations is all about strategy. If one thing is like, probably you get the data, you're figuring out this is not working out, what is the next step you need to do? So that sounds like a very dynamic, interesting job role to be moving into. We'll
Yeah.
come into a couple of mentee questions. So students, you can put up your questions in the chat section. We will be covering those right now. Shivasta sir wants to know, he's done his engineering. Are there any vacancies at Zomato? I think now with the whole pandemic, Are you all recruiting?
So yeah, I mean they are obviously recruiting, and right now I think they're recruiting for the tech and product side of the this thing. And yeah, if you look on the careers page, I'm sure you'll find something over there. And like the company is hiring 24/7 into 365, so I'm sure you'll find some vacancies.
Lovely. So
Depends on
to
where you
apply
want
for a
to.
job at Zomato, probably have to go through the website.
Yeah, just look on the careers page of Zomato, and I'm sure you'll find something there.
Okay, all right. So Karan is asking, I'm pretty sure very controversial question which you'll always keep getting asked. Zomato versus Swiggy. What is unique about Zomato?
What is unique about Zomato is also into dining out. Like Swiggy is only into online ordering, right? I'm sure people will have their preferences between Zomato, Swiggy, or Uber Eats, which is again acquired by Zomato. But yeah, I mean, like the only difference between Zomato and Swiggy is that Zomato not only takes care of when you get food delivered at home, it also takes care of when you are eating out. So that's a unique thing about Zomato.
Lovely. So I think not a lot of questions have come in related to this thing. I think you also worked as a media content executive at Zomato.
Yeah,
Can you tell us what
yeah.
was that job role like and what did you have to do?
So at that point of time, it was basically operations. Okay, like I had to get in touch with merchants, and so like you have to update the content on all the listings that you see on the Zomato website or the Zomato page. So I was a person who was responsible for keeping the website updated.
Okay.
So apart, that was kind of the main part of that role.
Okay. So Sahil is asking, how does your job role help you impact sales at Zomato?
Okay, so like my job role at Zomato is also, like it's one part of it is, talking to the sales team and asking them about numbers, how much they have sold, and that's what helps in, motivating the sales. Like if I've involved any new change in the product, okay, now I have to tell it to the sales team that this product, this change has been implemented. Now you can use this change to drive sales, and now it's their job obviously to do the sales, go to people and talk to them. But again, like how you make changes in the product can directly affect your sales. So that's how my job affects sales.
Lovely. So Venugopal is also asking, what do you think is the next best thing customers can expect from Zomato?
The next best thing customers can expect from Zomato, that would be, like yeah, so basically, like we're trying a way in which if you go to a restaurant, you don't have to interact with any of the restaurant staff, and without even interacting, you can go, you can have your order, and you can come back. So this is what we're working on. This is probably the next big thing from Zomato. Like at this point of time, where with this whole pandemic situation, like people are very wary of going out and everything. So what we have tried from our end is that you go to a restaurant, you interact to no one, you place your order on the phone, you pay on the phone, you don't even have to touch their ATM card machine. You eat it there and you come back. So that's what we are working on right now.
Lovely. So Vishruti is saying, had the customer relationship changed during the COVID?
So customer relationship has not changed during the COVID. Maybe the frequency of people who are ordering has become less, but customer relationships don't change. I don't think it changes with this. Like this is a worldwide situation. It's not like Zomato has induced something. So it's not like the customer relationship of Zomato will be going down. Just that, yeah, some people have stopped ordering so much, and that has changed, but the customer relationship is mostly the same.
Okay. So Vinod is also asking, how does Zomato retain customers?
How does Zomato retain customers? So imagine yourself as a customer, and you think, like for example, one day you ordered from Zomato, and your order came out wrong, or someone spilled something in the order or something like that. So in those cases, if you have a valid proof of all these things, and if you're not playing with the company, then like we try to refund your money, because obviously you shouldn't be paying for food which you don't have to eat, right? or which you don't like. So this is how we try to manage our customer relationships. Apart from that, like whatever complaints you have, like for me, I am working with the hygiene team. Okay, so if a customer complains to me that like you have given this restaurant a hygiene rating and this restaurant is still giving us bad food, or like there's some problem with the food, then like if we get a lot of two three such complaints, then we take down the rating, so that because obviously the customer who's ordering from there would know better,
Yes.
and we sitting here would not know. So like we rely on customers actually for all these things, so that they are the best instrument which help us keep a track of hygiene in the restaurant. So I think this does help in customer improving customer relationships, because when they think that we trust them, so obviously they would trust us.
Definitely. So Suraj is asking a little off-track question. I think how is the growth at Zomato, like in terms of the employees? Are there like incentives and or what are the growth opportunities?
So growth opportunities, this like if you're good at your work, then obviously you will be noticed for it and you will be acknowledged for it. And like there might be like there are appraisals and everything which is there in every company, but then you don't have to worry about all that. Like you might get more than expected or something. So that's what with Zomato. Like your peers will always be supportive of you, and if they notice you, then your growth could be tremendous. Like I remember one such person in Zomato who used to work in my team. Now she's working directly under the CEO because she has a very sound product insight. So because of that, she's working directly with the CEO. She's implementing things with the product which are going to customers on a daily basis. So these are the things. Like if you have a sound sense of work, then you will be acknowledged for it.
That's lovely. So Venugopal is also asking, do you think drones for delivery is feasible from an operational and pricing point of view in India?
Drones for delivery. Like as of now, I don't think drones. Yeah, like Zomato has ventured into it at some point of time, and like they have thought of it, obviously. But at this point of time, the drone technology is actually very expensive. I've seen an episode of Shark Tank, like from my personal experience. Okay, there was this one person who came who was selling his technology of drones, and that was extremely expensive. I realized that since it's a new technology, I mean, it's going to be really expensive. So for a company to sustain, it also has to manage. It's expensive. So of course it's a this thing, like it's a suggestion, it's a good thing, but to be for this to be happening, I see it like in a few years, not like right now.
Very true, and especially with Zomato, who probably gets like so many orders at one particular moment.
Exactly.
Like yeah, so I think that's definitely the next tech phase. Nobody thought that so much would advance in tech, but I'm pretty sure that's probably like upcoming fields that are definitely going to do that. I think even
Exactly.
Amazon had that idea. Lovely. So
Yeah.
I think that's all the questions that we had related to the session. Do you have any like last words for students who want to probably move into the product or the data or the operations line? Any feedback or advice for them?
Yeah, okay. My feedback would be like, if you have a setback in your, like you think, yeah, I'm not done this, I'm not done that, but don't let it weigh you down. I mean, if you keep on trying, then you'll definitely find some way. I mean, uh, yeah, you just have to keep on trying. Like you have to learn new things and you have to try. I think that will make up a good position in some good company, and you'll reach wherever you want to. Might take a little bit of time, but I'm sure you'll reach wherever you want to.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Just one last question Suraj is asking. He's like, during this pandemic, when restaurants were closed, most of the food delivery companies switched to other functions like groceries, fruits, and vegetables.
Yeah.
Zomato took a little while to do the switch. Why did it take time to switch?
So like this involves a lot of things, like switching from one thing to another. Like if you are trying to, you can't just suddenly venture from, like if you're just ordering, you can't just next day announce that, I'm going to do dining out also. So it involves a lot of tech background. It involves a lot of like for example, when we did venture into groceries, then like our content team was working day and night to create new listings and everything, and it was a really tedious part. Okay, like so that's what, like, it takes a while because I mean, you have to set the processes at the back end straight so that customers don't have a problem while using the app. Okay, like the app already has a lot of things, and like if you introduce something new and the app breaks down, then that's not good. So to make the backend supportive of all these activities, that's why it takes time.
Lovely. That's definitely true. And I think a lot of organizations with the sudden, shift from to work from home, it took a very huge transition, right? From, employees moving back home and, the customers, because you all are also a very customer centric organization. Lovely. Thank you so much, Vansh, for taking time out to do this session. A lot of, brilliant questions came up and a good insight into managing operations at Zomato as well. A lot of things that we, as students or as other people don't really know about. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences in the field as well.
Thank you for
Once
having
again,
me.
thank you to the QFirst team. If you all want to connect to amazing mentors like Vansh, you can definitely check out their page, qfirst.com, I think. I'm not sure. We'll drop it in the chat section as well. So you can definitely check out and attend their webinars as well. Thank you so much, Vansh, once again for taking
Thank you.
time out to do this session.
Sure, no problem. You're welcome, and thank you for having me. I would hope that I've helped someone. So, yeah,
Definitely, definitely. I'm sure with the amazing questions that you've answered, thank you so much for connecting with us. Mentees have posted a feedback form in the chat section. If you all can just fill up a feedback form so we understand the kind of webinars you all are also interested in, so we can keep improving your experience as well. So thank you so much again, Vansh, and thank you to the QFirst team as well.
thank you.
Take care and stay safe.
You too. Also, guys, take care and stay safe.
Yes.